Yo, what's up, everyone? This is Terry with College Football Stop, bringing you another show today. Got a lot of stuff to get into. I got some transfer portal news. Obviously, Ohio State running back Chip Trayanum entered the portal. We're going to talk about what that means for this team. I did, like I said last time, or on my last show, I um, forgot to talk about like the main topic actually, which was like the college football playoffs and like the situation with Florida State. So I do want to get into some of that. And then I want to talk about the quarterback situation that we have at Ohio State with Kyle McCord being in the portal and all kinds of news about who Ohio State's going after in the portal. So we'll go ahead and get into that towards the end. But let's start with the first thing. Like I said, Ohio State running back Chip Trayanum entered the transfer portal, and it was kind of a surprise, one that I really wasn't expecting to see, honestly. But it happens. I think he already has a visit with like Kentucky this weekend, and that would honestly be a good landing spot for him. I think Chip is kind of ready to go be like a running back one. And there is some rumblings that Treveyon Henderson will be coming back, and honestly, like Chip Trayanum leaving, it does support the fact that maybe Treveyon Henderson is returning. I've always been in the camp that I kind of think that Treveyon Henderson needed one more year, and it wasn't anything to do with like his skill or even like the statistics that he put up. I just remember Treveyon Henderson himself said that in 2022 he was not able to really practice at all, and he said that's why when he got in games he felt like he wasn't as crisp and wasn't playing as well because of the foot injury that he had. He was not able to even practice. And I think that he's like 1 year away on the development, especially if you look at running backs in the past that Tony Alford developed. Looking at guys like J.K. Dobbins, guys like Mike Weber, so on. There's more, but typically in that second year, you'll see them take a step forward in a lot of areas. But the last year, it seems like they put it all together. The main thing that I noticed with Treveyon and like I said with J.K. Dobbins in his sophomore year, I feel like they seek out contact and they lean forward into contact, which doesn't allow them to run through contact and continue running. They always go down when they get hit. That's one of the biggest gripes that Ohio State fans have with Treveyon Henderson right now. But like I said, J.K. Dobbins had that same issue in 2018, I guess it would have been. So I don't know, man. If Trey comes back, that's going to be really good. I mean, he's dynamic, freak athlete, and just a guy that, like, he's going to be your running back one. And Treveyon Henderson and Dallin Hayden as a 1-2 punch, I think will be really good. So I hope that he does come back. Hopefully, he takes that next step in his development because honestly, he has the athletic ability and the traits to be a first round pick in the draft. I don't think that he did enough in this past season or showed enough in this past season to be a first round pick. So, I mean, if he does want to come back, I don't know. I saw a graphic on Twitter like yesterday where I forget the guy's name, but there's a running back in the NFL, I think for maybe the Panthers, something like that. And Treveyon Henderson made more money than him last year. So it's like, I don't know. I think Trey will probably make more than that in the NFL, obviously, but apparently his NIL deals are really good. So I don't know. Hopefully we'll see Treveyon Henderson back, and we'll see a little because next year I expect us to have a quarterback that's able to run. So that alone is just going to drastically improve the run game. Having if you watch the games this year when Devin Brown was in the game, there was some plays where even Treveyon Henderson himself benefited from having that threat of the quarterback run. I can remember one specifically where Devin Brown faked the run to the left, but he ended up handing it off to Treveyon Henderson, and two linebackers on the other team, I forget what team it even was, but two linebackers went towards where Devin Brown was going, and Trey kind of ran around everybody and ran for like a 30 or 40-yard touchdown. So I don't know. Either way, like I said, hopefully he's coming back. I don't know for sure. I don't have word of that, but if he does, it'll be huge for the Buckeyes. And you got to keep Dallin Hayden because I mean that's like Dallin's your downhill runner, and Trey is your kind of get him on the edge and let him make a play runner. So I don't know. We'll see. There's one running back in the portal that a lot of people seem to be interested in, and that is I think his name's Trevor Etienne. Obviously, that's Travis Etienne's little brother. I think Travis Etienne was the running back for Clemson when Ohio State played them in 2019. Currently NFL starter for the Jaguars. So I don't know. I mean, ETN is transferring from Florida. He looks like a really good back. I mean, if Treveyon Henderson is leaving, Ohio State definitely needs to get in on that one. But if he's not, I mean, maybe you bring him in anyway because I think they're down to just two scholarship running backs now, and that's if Treveyon Henderson comes back, which apparently, like I said, is still up in the air. So I don't know, man. That position is going to be interesting. I think they probably need to go to the portal for a running back, regardless, even if it's not a guy or a name as big as ETN. If you can just bring in some depth pieces or something like that, that'll still be huge because, as you know, if you've watched Ohio State the last couple of years, they seem like their running backs just get hurt over and over and over again. So they're kind of like working all the way down through that room as the year goes on and just hoping they're all healthy at the end, which last year they were, but the year before that they were not. You know, we played the ending of the season without RB1 and RB2 with Trey and Mayan. But yeah, that's it on the running back position. I mean, I don't know. It's going to be interesting. Just keep your eye out for a portal running back, or maybe that announcement for Treveyon Henderson coming back. I do want to talk about the college football playoffs because this is, like I said, the one thing that I missed in my last show that I did. It was supposed to be the main topic of the show, but like I said, I just got so far down another rabbit hole that I forgot to even go over it. But anyway, the first thing I want to talk about is, did Florida State get screwed? So obviously, Florida State 13-0, uh, Power Five conference champs, and I don't know. I never thought we would see a day where a Power Five conference champion would get left out of a college football playoff. But at the same time, we've never seen a situation play out like it did this year, and I think that it's kind of the perfect year. If a season like this had happened before, we would have already had the 12-team playoff. We wouldn't be waiting till next year for that, because the committee was really put in a hard position. And I mean, I hate it for Florida State. I hate it for the kids on that team. You know, obviously that's a lot of people that are kind of, I mean, they did get screwed. You know, in a way they did, whether it was the right decision or not. I mean, they won all their games. That's what everybody always says. It doesn't matter. Just win your games. Win your games. But I don't know. I don't think that Florida State was one of the best four teams, and I think that the college football playoff committee was justified in what they did. I mean, I think that Alabama played a tougher schedule. I mean, honestly, it's not just Alabama that they didn't get in over either. I know that Alabama ended up slotting in at number 4, but you look at Texas, they also have a loss. You look at Michigan. I mean, honestly, if you're Florida State, that's probably one of the biggest things that I would be running with. Like, so we went undefeated, we can't make the playoffs, but a team that actually got caught cheating within this year is allowed to be in the playoffs. That, I mean, I don't know, man. I know that Florida's government officials are apparently in contact with the NCAA about this, so looks like they're going to try to fight it and make some lawsuit from it. I don't know. We'll see. But ultimately, what it comes down to is I think the committee didn't want to put Florida State in there with the backup quarterback where their offense has not looked good and basically have another TCU situation. Even though TCU won one game, everybody knew that team did not belong to be in the playoff. Or, excuse me, everybody knew that team did not belong in the playoffs, and I think that we're going to kind of see that this week, or not this weekend, but whenever the Florida State versus Georgia game is. I think that we're going to see that, okay, this was probably the right decision, because I really don't think that they're going to come close to beating Georgia. I think that Georgia's going to take care of them pretty easily, and that will kind of justify the college football playoff committee and what they did. So I don't know. Looking at the actual matchups for the playoffs, um, obviously we have Michigan versus Alabama. I mean, I may be a little biased, obviously, as an Ohio State fan, but I really don't see a way that Michigan wins this game. I mean, maybe I need to go back and watch some of the Alabama games where they played close games with teams that were not that great, because I did watch them. You know, I watched the SEC championship game. I think I watched when they played like LSU, stuff like that. And I think that some of the games this year that Alabama played, just a different team showed up, and that's the same with everyone, right? Like Michigan had their bad games, you know, like against Bowling Green, and they played their best against Ohio State. So I don't know. I just don't see how they're really going to generate offense on Alabama. I'm going to dig deeper into it and watch some more games and whatnot as the time goes on here, so I can talk about it more with a more educated information. closer to the actual games. But I just right now don't see how Michigan's going to be able to score on them. I just really don't. I think that Alabama's defense is too good, and they have the athletes and the speed to uh, kind of dominate that Michigan offensive line. So I don't know. We'll see. I do think Michigan can maybe give them, have some smoke for them on defense because, I mean, Michigan's defense is really good. Alabama's offense has struggled. Um, Give me 1 second here. Sorry about that, guys. Um, I just got a phone call, and then my cat jumped up on the computer. And all right, well, anyway, let's get back to it here. All right. Anyway, sorry about that. Let's continue. Let's continue on here. Anyway, I was talking about the playoff matchups. I think that Michigan's defense probably does have smoke for Alabama's offense. Like I said, um, I don't know. I think that Jalen Milrow is a difference maker, and he is going to take care of business. And like I said, I don't see how Michigan's going to be able to score on them. So let's move on from that. Talk about the other game. Obviously, Washington versus Texas. This is going to be a fun one. I think this is going to be like an old fashioned shootout. Like score is going to end up being like 38-35, something like that. Maybe 45-42, something like that. And you're just going to see both teams kind of taking shots at each other over and over and over again. And whatever team makes the plays at the end is probably going to be the team that ends up winning. So we'll see how that works out. I'm excited about that one. Like I don't want to dig too deep into it because, like I said, I got to go back and kind of watch some more film, watch some more um, of the better teams that they played, and see what to expect from both of these teams. But Quinn Ewers and Michael Penix Jr. are both really good quarterbacks. They have really good offenses, and their defenses are not the best in the country. So it should be an old fashioned shootout. And then I think that whoever wins between Alabama and Michigan will go on to win the national championship. So we'll see how that plays out, man. That's really it for now. Like I said, I'm gonna dig deeper into it and get into it in a later show. The last thing I wanted to talk about here was this Ohio State quarterback situation. So, for whatever reason, it seems like the Ohio State beat writers are running like an anti Devin Brown campaign. It randomly just started like over the last couple of days, maybe like since Kyle transferred. But I don't know, man. If you listen to any of their content where they're talking about the quarterback situation, the only thing they want to talk about is a transfer quarterback or Lincoln Keenholz, who we've seen like 3 snaps of, or something like that. But I don't know. I'm not sure why they're running that campaign. I think it has more to do with them just not wanting to be wrong. Obviously, there was the whole kind of Ohio State Civil War that went on in the beginning of the season where a lot of people thought that, or got information at least, that Devin Brown was the better quarterback in the spring, and then Ryan Day still gave the job to Kyle McCord. I don't know, man. I think that a lot of things that have happened so far kind of back that idea. Like, first off, why is Kyle McCord in the transfer portal? He was Ohio State's quarterback, decent stats, went 11-1. People don't tell me it's because of the fans. It's not because of the fans. People were giving CJ Stroud death threats, and look what he did at Ohio State. Like, every player has crazy fans talking shit about them. It's not something that ends up getting to the players as much as people think it does. But to me, the one reason that he would leave at this point is Ryan Day told him that we are not guaranteeing you the quarterback job. We're going to have a real legitimate competition, and he must have thought that he was not going to win that competition. There's no other way to spin that, right? I mean, if I'm at a job that, or the place that I want to be at, and they're like, "Hey, you're gonna be competing with other people for this job," and I think that I'm going to win. I think that I'm the best. I'm going to stay and compete because why not? I'm just going to beat their ass anyway. So I don't know. But again, overall, like I said, just there's a lot of people hating on Devin Brown. I really think that he's going to end up being the starting quarterback next year. I know that there's a lot of smoke with like bringing in a transfer portal quarterback, looking at guys like Riley Leonard, Cam Ward. There was a tweet that came out from someone who's typically well sourced that said Ohio State hasn't been in contact with Cam Ward, which, we were hearing that Ohio State was the favorite to land him. Even like Vegas odds for like his next team have Ohio State as the favorite, and then there's a report that says they haven't even spoke to him at all. I heard that Riley Leonard is possibly going to be, or Ohio State's going to be looking at him. I mean, I don't really know what he's capable of. He obviously didn't have a ton of statistical success this year, but I don't know, man. I expect them to not bring in a transfer quarterback, and if they do, I think that it's going to end up being kind of a depth piece, like a guy like Tristan Gebbia, a guy who is going to be on your in case of an emergency, basically, and going to kind of learn under Ryan Day. Um, I don't know, man. I just think that if you're bringing in a quarterback that is one of these big time names, and they're going to be coming in getting crazy NIL deals, at that point, that's your starting quarterback. You're not going to bring in someone and give them crazy NIL deals, and then tell them, well, you didn't win the job, you're not starting. So I don't know. We'll see how it works out. If they can get someone who's a surefire, gonna take you to the playoffs, win the Big Ten championship, then cool. But if not, I'm okay with them bringing in a depth piece and rolling with Devin Brown and Lincoln Keenholz. Let those two battle it out. Got Air coming in for depth. Obviously, hoping you don't lose both your top two quarterbacks in like the first half of the season or nothing. But I mean, I don't know. I say we roll with it. I think Devin Brown's ready to take this job and run with it. Obviously, he tweeted out the picture of the boats, the burning boats. So I love that. It's just that kind of like I'm here to stay energy. Obviously that I explained on my other show, but that burning boats thing was like some Spanish conquest where the guy, they were going to go to war. They pulled up on their boats, and then the last thing he said to his men was like, "Burn the boats," indicating that we're not turning back. The only thing left to do now is fight. So I don't know, man. I'm excited about the bowl game coming up against Missouri. I know it's, it's not a playoff, but at the same time, it could end up being a blessing in disguise to where we're not looking at 2 years of mediocrity, and maybe we'll end up just having the one. A lot of stuff's coming out. A lot of people are hitting the portal that are just honestly not huge impacts on this team. So hopefully Ryan Day will be able to be aggressive and replace them with impact players. And then 2024 can be the start of Ohio State's dynasty run, hopefully. But that's really all that I have for today, guys. I just want to get into some of that stuff. I try to go live every weekday, like around 10 a.m. But it's in the off season, so I've been kind of doing every other day. But I'm going to wrap this up here. Give me a follow on Twitter at CFB_stop. Obviously hit the like button, subscribe, and all that good stuff. Thanks for watching. You guys have a good day. Peace out.